Yeah. All right, I'm going to fire this up again. So just to kind of backtrack to our setup, we opened up the exe file to give us Vasari, and we did our login to make sure that we've got access to Autodesk 360. Next step was just to give ourselves the default 3D view so we didn't get the distortion of the perspective view. And then we went into setting up the location. So if we click on Set Location, and then in the project address, we'll just use the one that's relevant to you guys. So we'll use London, England. See if it finds it. There we go. And we've got several weather stations to choose from. You guys are, the site is Hyde Park? Yeah. So there isn't one. It'll only give you something close. So let's say it was this one. Actually, this one's probably a little closer. So 5.5 miles away from kind of center London, which is probably about as close as you're going to get. So we'll just click on that one. It gives you a numbered weather station there. You can see it just has a code there, 142882. Just click on that one and click OK. And there we go. So we got London, UK listed as the site. So what it's doing there is it's accessing weather data from that particular weather station, quite likely from several decades worth of weather data gathering. And it's going to take into account what the typical patterns are for solar radiation, how much sunlight, how much wind, how much moisture, what the temperatures are. So all that information is going to be a factor in what we do now. So that is the next step in the setup. We want to then go to the Manage tab, and we're going to see a button here under the Settings panel for Project Units. You'll see that by default, perhaps because it comes out of the States, we always see imperial here, so we're going to switch length from feet and fractional inches to millimeters, and just keep it at 0 decimal places. Click OK. And then for area, we're going to change this from square feet to square meters. You guys are working in metric for your project? Okay. Well, don't worry about the rest of them. We can kind of have a combination here. The combination of metric and imperial is not a big deal because we're not going to be dealing with these other units for now. So just those two is fine. Click OK. And then the last major step here in the setup process is just to confirm that your levels are what you need them to be. I'm not going to try to match what your project's all about. I know it's just single story probably, right? So there's, okay, so everybody's doing different things. All right. Well, we're not going to try to match that. We're just going to go with what's available here by default, which is the 5 levels, the base, and then the 4 additional levels. These are a factor in the way that you model and the way that you set up floors, just like it is in Revit. So we're going to just stay with that, but just to show you that it's the same sort of thing, if you just use that view cube to go to an elevation view, a side view, you'll see that these work planes are functioning like levels as you would have seen them in Revit. It's a little different from Revit in the sense that we don't use a full project browser. We don't have floor plans and ceiling plans and elevations and sections listed here. We just have these basics, and we really just rely on the view cube to get the view that we want. So again, it's more like the conceptual modeling environment in Revit as opposed to the sort of the regular project environment. So that's the setup. What we're going to do now, as I mentioned, is we're just going to create a really basic, just boxy block building, and that's what we're going to do our simulations on. You have the capacity to do really elaborate designs and something that would match your building for your project for Jesse, but it's okay to just do something simple just for this demo. You can import objects as masses, yeah. You're going to be more successful just sort of generating them here. If it's coming from another program, it will only import it as a mass, and you might not have the ability to customize the openings, but that option does exist. It certainly is going to come in from Revit. It's going to recognize that fairly well, so that's a good option also. So I think we'll wrap up with the setup video now.